Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we plunge into a stack of sources to pull out those really interesting nuggets of knowledge and, well, surprising facts you might not find elsewhere. Our whole mission here is to get you well-informed, fast, on topics that, you might not even realize you're curious about yet. Okay, let's get into this one. Today, we are diving pretty much nose first into the world of a fragrance. And it's one that doesn't just promise to make you smell good. It claims to embody passion, power, and, well, real confidence. It draws its inspiration right from Greek mythology, which hints at something, much bigger than just a bottle of perfume.
Oh, absolutely. And that mythological link is, I think, completely central to understanding Versace Eros. We're talking Eros, the Greek god of love, desire, attraction. It's not just like a marketing angle. It's foundational. It positions Eros not just as a smell, but as a statement, a really bold one. It's designed to, well, provoke strong feelings, project power. And the core scent itself, our sources pinpoint this vibrant mix of mint, vanilla, and woods. It's all crafted to grab attention and yeah, leave that trail of desire. It's meant to be unforgettable.
Unforgettable, right? It's more than just smelling nice. It's like you're projecting a whole vibe, a story about yourself. And over the next little while, we're going to break that story down. We'll dig into the notes, talk about when and where the scent really works best, and figure out what makes it so magnetic, especially based on how, other people react to it. You're really about to get the story behind this scent. So let's start right at the beginning, the DNA, if you will, this powerful myth of Eros and how that becomes, well, an actual scent. We know Eros, god of love, is the muse. But how does that huge ancient idea, love, desire, passion, how does that actually get bottled? How do you translate that into something someone sprays on? That's the bit I find just, well, fascinating about perfumery.
It really is an art, isn't it? And the Versace Eros is such a great example. They capture that inspiration by creating this core identity that's fresh, sweet, and woody all at once, but with this really seductive depth underneath that you just can't ignore. The mint, vanilla, and woods, they're not just ingredients on a list, they're the pillars, The structure that gives it that distinctive attention-grabbing thing. What's really clever, I think, is how that sharp mint, it doesn't just vanish, it sort of lifts the heavier vanilla and wood, stops the whole thing from getting too heavy or sticky sweet. That tension, that play between the cool and the warm, that's often what makes these seductive scents work so well for so many people. It balances immediate freshness with this lingering warmth.
That tension you mentioned, fresh versus warm. Yeah, it sounds really compelling. And it makes perfect sense when you hear how one source described it. Such a vivid picture called Eros mint chocolate ice cream with a masculine twist. I mean, wow, that just instantly paints this clear, intriguing image, doesn't it? Something inviting, familiar almost, but with this unexpected kind of sophisticated edge. It's not just a smell, you can almost taste that description. Yeah, that combination really sounds captivating. But like any good story, right, a fragrance changes over time. It's not just one thing. It unfolds on your skin, moves from that first hit to the base that stays with you. So starting from that first impression, how does Versace Eros evolve? Can you walk us through that journey of the notes? Is there like a particular shift that catches people off guard?
Absolutely. The journey is really, really well crafted. It kicks off with the top notes. That's your handshake, the immediate hello. For Eros, that's mint, green apple, and lemon, described as a crisp and energizing opening. Really wakes you up. Just imagine that initial pop. The cool, almost icy mint, then the bright, juicy, sweet green apple, and that clean arsing from the lemon. It's vibrant, almost bracing, grabs your attention right away and sets a lively mood. Then, as those bright top notes start to soften a bit, you move into the heart notes. This is where the real character of Eros starts to bloom, get warmer on the skin. Here we find tonka bean, ambroxan, and geranium. They blend together to create this warm and aromatic core. The tonka bean gives it this warm, sweet, almost almondy feel, maybe hints of hay. It's a sophisticated sweetness, different from just plain vanilla, adds a kind of gourmand richness. Then there's ambroxan, that's a modern amber note. It adds warmth, a musky, almost salty skin kind of vibe, and helps the scent stick around longer, makes it feel richer. And geranium, that brings a green, slightly rosy, even a tiny bit minty element. That's key, actually. It stops the sweetness from taking over completely and adds this refined, fresh, masculine touch. Creates a lovely balance. And then finally, as the heart settles down, you get to the base notes. This is the foundation, the part that lasts the longest and leaves that final memory. For Eros, we have Madagascar vanilla, Atlas cedar, vetiver, and oak moss. The Madagascar vanilla here is rich, more luxurious than sugary, creamy, warm, alluring. Atlas cedar brings a dry, woody backbone. Think clean, pencil shavings, very masculine. Vetiver, that's a root. It adds this complex, earthy, sometimes smoky, slightly bitter woodiness. Really grounds the whole thing with a deep, refined feel. And oak moss, a classic, gives it this deep, earthy, almost leathery, mossy texture, like a damp forest floor maybe. Adds green richness. It's all these layers, built up carefully, that create that overall seductive depth we talked about, that lingering, pretty irresistible finish.
Wow, that progression really paints a full picture. From bright and crisp right down to deep, sensual, almost earthy. It sounds incredibly layered. But that brings up the big question. When do you actually wear it? With a profile like that, is this something you just, spray on heading to the office? Or is it more for specific moments? What's the timing on Eros?
That's a really important point for getting the best out of any fragrance, especially one like this. While some scents are all-rounders, Eros definitely has its prime time. Our sources consistently call it a cool weather and nighttime beast, which means that rich vanilla, the warm tonka, the woods, they just bloom in cooler air. So perfect for fall, winter, and spring. That's when its richness and, frankly, its power won't feel too much. They complement the cooler air. And beyond just the season, its whole vibe points to certain occasions, right? It's definitely flagged as ideal for evenings and date nights. Think clubbing, a romantic dinner, maybe an upscale party, anywhere you want to make a real statement. That bold projection is a big part of why it works for special occasions. It ensures you get noticed, leave that impression. You arrive, and people know it.
Okay, bold projection sounds great for making an impression. But isn't there a risk there? How do you make sure you're making a statement and not just, gassing everyone out, especially somewhere more intimate? And what about summer? Does this cool weather beast just stay on the shelf when it's hot?
That's a very fair question. It's all about fragrance etiquette, really. Eros is bold, no doubt. But the key is just thoughtful application to make that impression without overwhelming. Usually 2, maybe 3 sprays is plenty. 1 on the chest, maybe 1 on each wrist or the neck pulse points. In closer quarters, maybe just 1 spray on the chest is enough. Let it sort of gently warm up with your body heat instead of shouting. And for summer, yeah, the sources admit it can work, particularly evenings when it cools down a bit. But the advice is definitely go light on the sprays. Seriously light. Like 1 or 2 max. Maybe spray further from your nose, like behind the knees, or even just spray the air once and walk through it. That way you get the character, but it doesn't become suffocating in the heat.
Right, those are some really practical tips. You want presence, not chemical warfare. Okay, let's shift to the practical stuff. Our sources give Eros a massive rating, 9.3 out of 10. That's seriously high. What's a performance like? How long does it actually last? How far does it reach? What gets it that score?
Yeah, the performance is a huge factor in that rating, absolutely. For longevity, you're looking at a solid 8 to 10 hours on skin. That's strong, really strong. It means you put it on in the evening, and it's still going strong through whatever you're doing, dinner, event, night out. No need to reapply. It's built to last. And the projection, described as bold, fills a room for the first few hours. So, yeah, for those initial hours, it really announces you. You walk in, and the scent precedes you, almost. It's confident, it's assertive, designed to make that lasting first impression we talked about.
Bold and long-lasting. Okay, that definitely fits the statement idea.
Yeah.
But, beyond the technical specs, how does that actually play out? How do other people react to it? Fragrance is so personal, but there's always that feedback loop, isn't there? Especially, feedback from women for a men's scent like this. What do the sources say about the appeal?
Right, and this is where you see its massive appeal really come through. The sources have direct quotes from people who've smelled it. Really clear picture. One person said, "It smells like a man who's confident, sexy, and knows how to have fun." That's pretty direct. Another shared, and this is powerful, "It's sweet, minty, and addictive. I'd follow that scent anywhere." Wow. So yeah, this feedback backs up its reputation. It's known as a clubbing favorite and a big compliment magnet, especially among younger women. Just hits that sweet spot. Fresh, sweet, woody in a way that seems almost universally attractive and memorable.
Well, those are some strong endorsements. Hard to argue with. I'd follow that scent anywhere. But interestingly, our sources also mentioned this little wrinkle, right? That because it's so popular, so recognizable, some women might actually say, "Oh, my ex wore that." That's kind of a funny downside to being successful, isn't it? Does that popularity, that mass appeal ever become a bit of a challenge? Does it make it less special? What's the deal there?
That's a great point, and it hits on that classic paradox, doesn't it? Success can make something common. And yes, the fact that Eros is so widely loved does mean it's not going to be the most unique thing you could choose. Lots of people know it, maybe even from an ex. But, and this is crucial, the sources are really clear that this familiarity doesn't actually seem to hurt its appeal much. Despite being everywhere, the verdict is, it's not the most unique scent, but it's iconic, seductive, and unforgettable.
Hmm. Think of it like a really huge pop song. Everyone knows it, maybe because it's so popular, but it still gets people moving, right? It resonates because the formula is just that good. It
Yeah.
works. Its character is so strong that even if it's familiar, it still gets a powerful, usually positive reaction.
Yeah.
It's almost like a modern classic now.
That's a great way to put it, like a classic song everyone knows but still loves. And that kind of brings us back to where we started, Eros the god. Given this sense undeniable pull, its bold character, who is the Eros persona, what kind of person really embodies the spirit of Versace Eros beyond just, wearing the fragrance? The persona feels very clear, very intentional. This is for the man who owns his energy, bold, passionate, and unapologetically magnetic. It's definitely not for the guy trying to fly under the radar or be subtle. It's for someone who wants to stand out, command attention, make their presence felt instantly. You picture someone confident, charismatic, not afraid to show their passion or desire. The idea is that wearing Eros means your scent speaks louder than words. It's like an extension of your confidence, your energy, your charm, radiating that inner strength and allure.
That's a strong image. Definitely fits with the God of love and desire idea. So for listeners who are now thinking, maybe I should check this out, or just getting more into fragrances generally, what do our sources suggest for exploring further, beyond just hunting down this one bottle?
Good question. Well, besides finding Eros at, the usual department stores or reputable online sellers, our sources really emphasize the value of just diving deeper into the fragrance world itself, exploring online communities, forums, YouTube reviewers doing detailed breakdowns, blogs about scent history. There's so much out there. These places offer amazing scent education. You learn about notes, history, new releases, tips. It really deepens your appreciation. And the sources do mention that for good prices, places like Oak Fragrance might be worth checking out for Eros. Apparently, their socials, maybe via Linktree, often share those kinds of tips, news about drops, and general scent knowledge for people getting into it.
What an amazing deep dive. We went from Greek gods right down to the nitty-gritty notes, from the crisp mint opening through that warm heart to the creamy, woody base. We learned it's a star in cool weather and at night, perfect for making that bold, confident statement. And it's consistently loved, even if it is super popular. It really does seem to bottle up confidence and magnetism, a scent that gets attention and sticks in your memory.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating when you look at it like this is, well, how a carefully made scent doesn't just evoke an emotion or a myth. It can actually become like a signature, almost a second skin for someone. It shapes how people see you, creates memories for everyone involved. Which does raise a pretty big question, doesn't it? How much of who we are, our story, can actually be communicated through fragrance? And what does it say about us, maybe as a culture, that we choose to express ourselves this way so intimately, yet so powerfully through smell?
That is a fantastic, thought-provoking question to end on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you'll maybe think a bit more about the power of scent in your own life. Perhaps find your own Eros or just a new appreciation for the stories fragrances tell. Until next time.